Marquis Grissom. Marquis, are you there?
I'm here, Matthew. How you doing?
I am very well, thanks. Thanks so much for joining myself today.
Well, you're welcome.
All right, well, let's get right to it, Marquis. Your thoughts on, first of all, what you experienced today here this morning at the breakfast?
It was quite a treat. It was very intriguing, I should say, having a great opportunity to raise funds for a great cause, really getting the opportunity to see Claude Brochure, Mark Rutenberg, Sam, and all those guys and all the players. It was just a great treat to reunite with those guys again.
Now, you were at the Canadiens game last night in the suite. Your thoughts on the ovation you guys got?
Oh, outstanding. Outstanding. I think as we play this game and we grow as players and as people, and I think the only thing that we can leave behind is that, for myself, just want to be remembered. And when people remember you and acknowledge you and you get an ovation like that at a different setting, it's definitely gratifying.
Now, Marquis, growing up, obviously watched a lot of the Expos and certainly enjoyed watching you and so many different things about your game that were a lot of fun to watch. The stealing bases, the good arm from the outfield, and obviously just general speed. But one thing that people just kept talking about over and over the years was the fact that you played so shallow in center field and you were so comfortable going back on the ball. Was it always the case?
No. When I first got here, we had a great center fielder, two of them, Dave Martinez and Otis Nixon. My first year here in '89, I had the opportunity to just sit back and watch those guys play. And I just took it upon myself to, try to be the best outfielder that I could be. And I just worked on it. Tommy Harper, who was a first base coach, outfielder coach, and he really, taught me the game on and off the field. But he's the one that made me make that decision to try to play in. It's very difficult to play in, and I think that's every outfielder's problem is to play shallow. If you play regular, I think you get a lot of bloop hits in front of you, and we didn't need that in Montreal because of the turf. I think a blooper here, a blooper there, that changes the game.
1993, of course, the Expos finished 2 games behind the Phillies for the division, a very exciting year. And obviously the Phillies go on to lose to the Blue Jays in 6 games in the World Series that year. But after the season, a big trade happens where Delino Deshields, a guy who was at the top of the lineup with you, first and second, usually in that order, gets traded to the Dodgers. And Pedro Martinez comes over in return. Before you knew what Pedro was, what were your thoughts on that trade?
At first, Delino Deshields is one of my best friends in all of baseball, and it was difficult, just to see him go. I had faced Pedro a couple of times, on his way up to the big leagues, and he was pretty much like his brother, Ramon Martinez, who was a great pitcher also. Nobody knew what they were getting. I don't think the Expos knew that they had a Cy Young winner, a Hall of Fame pitcher. Nobody knew. That's just him coming of age and being a great pitcher. And I think this probably was one of the best trades in baseball history.
Of course, that leads you into 1994, a team that just dominated in the second half of the 114 games or so that you ended up playing. During that season, when did you think you had a shot at winning the World Series? Was there a moment? Was there a game? Was there a period?
Well, I think it was, Matthew, pretty much after the All-Star break. I think we wanted to be the best team that we can be, and it all started with Felipe Alou, who was the general of that team. And, we came out of spring training playing well with a great attitude, and I think what motivated us a little bit, too, was just we were tired of being second to the Braves. We had the same spring training camp together in West Palm Beach. We shared facilities, and they always would go and use the main diamond first, and we always would go to the backfield, and it was kind of insulting, But I think all the players that we had with Felipe, guiding the ship, put us on the right track and had all the respect for the players, for all the players, and headed us in the right direction. And after the All-Star break, we just pretty much just turned it on and went out and just denied being beat. And I think that's a reflection of Felipe Alou.
Marquis Grissom joining us here on the program, former Montreal Expos player in town for cause. Also in studio here, Dave Kaufman, who had a chance to also attend the breakfast. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Marquis. What was it like to go from the agony of the end of the 94 season to the ecstasy of winning a World Series in 1995?
Well, it was tough. Once I knew I got traded, Kevin Malone, who I'm sitting right up here with right now, gave me that call and was traded to Atlanta. Well, number one, I was at home. I was happy about that, so that calmed the pain a little bit. And but to go out and go to another team which was similar to the Expos, but had more pitching than we had, but we had the chemistry, but the Braves had the pitching, and not the chemistry like the Expos, but close. And you have to have all those components together to win a World Series. So I was happy and, elated to win a World Series, but I also sad in the same sense that I had just left a whole big family of friends, man, who really stuck together as a teammate.
Now, you won a World Series. You had a lot of accomplishments, certainly with the Expos and other teams. But one thing that maybe people forget about is the fact that you hit that game-tying home run in the 1994 All-Star Game off Randy Johnson, opposite field to the right field. And then, of course, Moises Alou wins it with the game-winning double. By the way, Darren Fletcher actually was on deck as well. Quite the night, I remember. But your thoughts on hitting that tying home run?
Just battling at the plate, I was so excited and pumped up, man, that, I had faced Randy Johnson before in spring training. I actually come up with Randy Johnson with the Expos and faced him a lot in spring training when we both were trying to make it to the big leagues. But, at that time, he wasn't the pitcher that he, was, 10 years later. But he kept throwing that fastball outside, and I was just trying to get good wood on it. And finally, he threw me one a little bit in, and I got good wood on it. But it was an unbelievable feeling to hit a home run in an All-Star game. One of my biggest highlights.